Hello and welcome to Dingoes Ate My Podcast. I'm Paul,
And I'm Dave.
and this week we are discussing the second episode of Season 3, That Vision Thing. This episode originally aired October 1st in the year 2001, attracting approximately 4.83 million viewers. Alrighty, so number one at the box office this week, Dave. Any guesses?
Yeah, not the first of that.
It's a big
Oh,
movie.
that
Like a big, drama movie.
more of the drama. Again, trying to remember from the ones last week. Um, yeah, nothing's immediately coming to mind.
It's a little movie that unfortunately got turned into a TV series as well much later. It's Training Day. Did you ever see
Eh,
Training Day?
not that I can specifically recall. No,
It's a great film, but not a great TV series.
possibly understandable. When you try to stretch something out that it doesn't have any more give to it, it's probably not going to work.
Well, I mean, it's about Denzel Washington plays this cop who's like, I don't want to spoil the movie too much, but basically he's sent to train this new officer played by Ethan Hawke, who is joining like his drug enforcement like I'm trying to think of the right word. Like their drug enforcement unit, and
Yeah.
he basically has to train him up in this day. And Denzel kind of, we find out he's maybe not the most trustworthy cop.
Mm.
And there's a bunch of violent shit that happens, and yeah, it's good. It's just it should never have been turned into a TV series.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it definitely matches the drama, but yeah.
okay, so for video games, on the day this game released, Jesus.
Another one of those cases of everyone and their grandma decided to release a game.
I mean, not quite, but it's a pretty big one. So, October 1st, 2001, on the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and on Xbox, NASCAR Thunder 2002. Which, at this point, the NASCAR games were actually legitimately really good.
Yeah, I think so.
They were,
Before they
yeah.
started going crazy into the develop a track sort of thing.
These were, yeah, a lot of these NASCAR games around this time were really good, and then they kind of fall off a cliff a couple of years later.
Yeah.
Also on October 1st on the Game Boy Advance, Scooby Doo and the Cyber Chase,
Ah, yes.
which was, I want to say it's like a portable version of like a PS1 game that came out
Yeah.
around the same time.
It makes decent enough sense, yeah.
Yes. Also on October 1st, on the PS2, if neither of those games were really striking your fancy, they released a port of Time Crisis 2.
Ooh.
October 2nd, on the Game Boy Advance, we got Lego Island 2, The Brickster's Revenge, which I don't
What
remember,
was it?
but sounds incredible.
Yeah.
October 3rd, the next day, if that wasn't the Lego game you wanted, on the Game Boy Advance, they had you sorted with Lego Bionicle.
Ah.
Well, speak of the devil. On October 4th, on the PlayStation 1, Scooby Doo and the Cyber Chase.
Oh, there you go.
And finally, on the Game Boy Advance, on October 5th, we had the Wild Thornberries Chimp Chase.
Because of course they did.
I okay. I mean, fine, whatever. Not my jam, but I'm sure it'll be for someone. And finally, number one song in America this week. Any guesses?
Mm. Now I'm thinking the same one from last week.
It is Still Fallen by Alicia Keys. Yes.
Hmm.
Alrighty. So, this episode. Wesley and Gunn eat takeout in the lobby, and Fred eats her food under the table. Which I love that little thing of her just always being in somewhere really cramped and stuff, because she's used to living in a cave.
That and just her anxieties as it sits.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Until Wesley convinces her to come out. While Cordelia waits for her next vision, Wolfram and Hart lawyer Gavin Park visits to inform them of the Hyperion Hotel's building code violations. After Gavin leaves, Cordelia gets a vision about a coin with a hole in it and a clawed beast. In the bathroom, where she recovers, Cordelia informs Wesley through the door that there are 5 claws, which leaves out that there are claw marks on her stomach. Easy for me to say. Angel makes arrangements for Cordelia to be taken home by Fred. He knows Cordelia's visions are getting worse, but she refuses to acknowledge how bad they are. Wesley, Angel, and Gunn leave to find the coin, ending up at a herb shop owned by an elderly couple who turn demonic when asked about the coin. The gang knock out the couple, and Angel finds the coin around the neck of the elderly man. Gavin informs Lila that he has been moved into her department, and the two share bitter words about their approaches to dealing with Angel. At her apartment, Cordelia tries to force Fred to leave, but another violent vision leaves her with boils on her face. The whole gang meets at her place, and she tries to describe her vision, but Angel is more interested in what's happening to her. They question why the powers that be would inflict pain on their messenger. Wesley sends Angel to find the key that goes with the coin, while Lauren tries to question the powers that be about their actions. Because Lauren has his psychic ability to read people, he also has a connection with the powers, and that's how that's kind of meant to work.
Hmm.
Cordelia fears losing her visions, but is persuaded to try anyway. Lila has a young man wearing a fez sign some papers before meditating on a table. Removing his hat, the man reveals a split skull and an exposed brain. As a result of the man's mental efforts, Cordelia gets hit with a massive vision about fire that flings the host across the room and burns her face and limbs. From his contact with Cordelia, the host realizes that the visions originate from someone on Earth, not from the powers. Angel visits Lila, who informs him that unless he uses the key and coin to free an unfairly imprisoned man from a hell dimension, the physical effects of Cordelia's visions will worsen. Back at the hotel, Wesley tells Angel about the coin. That tells Angel that the coin and the key are items of good nature, so those holding and associated with the objects are likely good as well. Wesley points out that rescuing this man is going against Angel's mission. Angel inserts the key into the coin's hole, which transports him to the Hell Dimension, where he encounters a demon guard protecting a fiery cube surrounding the prisoner, who is constantly aflame and in agony. The guard, Skip, is holding the prisoner in the fire with his will. He mentions that the prisoner is a particularly heinous monster who has earned such torment. Skip and Angel have a friendly conversation before they break into battle, where Skip is knocked unconscious and the man is thus freed. Angel and the rest of the gang transport the prisoner to Lila for the exchange. Lila has the dude with the exposed brain in the back of the limo work his magic to end Cordelia's suffering. A phone call to Fred at Cordelia's place confirms its success. The captive man is handed over to Wolfram and Hart. Then Angel kills the dude with the exposed brain by throwing a piece of rebar through the limo's window and the man's skull. Lila turns around to find Angel right in her face, threatening to kill her if she goes after Cordelia again. At the hotel, Cordelia makes food and coffee for Angel as a way to thank him for his work, and Angel convinces her that the guilt she feels for what happened is unnecessary. He'll deal with Wolfram and Hart and the man he set free when it becomes necessary. Meanwhile, in Central America, Darla visits a shaman asking for help to get rid of her baby. She reveals that the father is a vampire. Using some of her blood and herbs, he tries to determine the baby's form and how it could exist in a vampire's body. Unfortunately, she is carrying something that no one can rid her of, and she resolves that her last option is to seek help from the baby's father. A don't, don't, don't. Alrighty, what did you think of this episode, Dave?
Oh boy. Just the case of you were not kidding when you were mentioning that these visions are not easily taken care of with a human being, and especially when someone has the ability to also mess with you in that sort of capacity.
Yes.
Um, Specifics of who it was. I recognized him, the particular actor that did that job and had the exposed brain. The name is escaping me though.
Calpen.
Ah, yes. But yes, it was interesting to sort of. I caught a glance of him when the he was first introduced, and it's like, oh, he's in this episode. And it's like, oh, he has a part in this episode. Neat.
Yes. Yeah, it's cool to see him in this role that's like quite a ways prior to anything that you'd be familiar with him from.
Hmm. Again, seeing their kind of start and how things sort of went along with their career and those sorts of things like that. It's always neat to see.
Yeah.
Also, sort of the case of with the interaction of the standoff between uh, Lena and Angel, just those particular words always came to mind with his name escapes me, but the gentleman who lost his hand and had the guitar.
Oh, Lindsay.
Lindsay, thank you.
Yeah.
It's the case of, yeah, with Wolfram and Hart, don't play their game, have them play yours. In kind of the case of, no matter what, Angel had to kind of play their game, or otherwise Cordelia would suffer.
Yeah. Yeah. But he also kind of like screws them over by killing Cal Penn's character.
That in the case of, if you play that card again, all bets are off and you're going down.
Yeah. No, it's a great little moment where like Angel kind of has to like do this thing for Wolfram and Hart, but he gets a measure of revenge at least.
Mm.
Yeah, no, it's very well put together. So the whole thing with Darla, she's gonna go find the baby daddy now.
Yeah, that particular part of the plot, how that's gonna play out.
Any idea who it might be? Because we get some clues in this episode. We find out that the father is a vampire.
Yeah, with that, but then there's only kind of two that can specifically kind of be brought up, unless there's a third.
Who are you
That's
think?
kind
Who are the
of off of
two
the
on your
wing.
list?
Pretty much just Angel and Spike.
Interesting.
Like,
Interesting.
I'm sure that there are other particular vampires and whatnot that are there, but
Those
from
are the
my
two
memory,
major
they
ones,
haven't
though.
really been, yeah, with that. But
Yeah.
there hasn't really been other big ones that have kind of been pushed within Angel. So,
Yeah. No, that's totally fair. Alrighty. So international titles. In Finnish, it translates as "scary visions," which I mean, fair. In German, it translates as "deadly visions," which again,
yeah.
fair. In a bunch of language, it translates as either visions, the visions, or these visions. We're just going to skip those. In Latin American Spanish, though, it translates as visions, comma, aggressions, which I quite like. And finally, in French, it translates as the martyrdom of Cordelia. I feel like that's a bit strong, but you do you.
Yeah, as it is, yeah, if they didn't want to go with visions, that's pretty much the only other thing that you could bring up. The fact that, oh man, Cordelia is going to be affected in this episode.
This is another fun note for this episode. This is actually Cal Penn's second episode in the Buffyverse. He also had a small role in the episode Beer Bad,
Uh,
if you remember that. Which at least he gets to be in a good episode this time,
thank goodness.
because he's far too talented to be only in Beer Bad. Because that episode was definitely bad. Okay, so if there's nothing else about this episode, next week we will be discussing the episode That Old Gang of Mine. Harmless demons are suddenly being killed all over LA for no apparent reason. Gunn finds out that his vampire hunting former comrades are doing it for fun, and now he needs to make a choice about where he will stand. Yes, so there's gonna be some Gunn stuff happening.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we're going to see the end of a character that we've been enjoying since the early episodes.
Oh boy.
Yep. So until next time, I'm Paul.
And I'm Dave.